Hey,
Hi.
hey. Welcome back to page 3. I'm Ellie.
And I'm Sydney.
And if you were here last week, then you know that Sid and I have, or just here in general, that
Mhm.
Sid and I have just talked about our reading goals and how we've been doing with that. And now this week, we're going to talk about our other New Year's resolutions and how we're doing on those as like a mid-year checkpoint,
Um,
which is exciting. So just like a little pulse check, how we're doing, how we feel, if we want to reevaluate, want to change them. I feel like these resolutions are always really overwhelming and
mm,
very hard to keep track of sometimes, and, a year's a long time. So how
yeah.
are you been doing, Sid, on yours?
Uh, okay, first, I want to address really quickly that I am aware that this is a new background situation. I'm on a trip right now with a couple of friends and their family. And so this is the recording situation for today. That's the reality of it.
It's
But just
very
know I'm
rough.
committed. Just know that I'm committed to this
Yeah.
podcast because I came up from the beach and I started recording. So I'm here for you all. As far as resolutions go, the two that I recall being like, or three, I guess, that I recall being the most concerned about was one, I wanted to be like more consistent, like mix in my lifting again for working out because I teach sculpt, as I've talked about a few times. And that was something I wanted to really work towards last year. And now that I've been doing it so much and working towards it so much, I wanted to get back into lifting a little bit more and find like a balance between the 2. I'm not gonna lie, I don't particularly know if I've done that. I've started teaching 3 classes now, so I'm teaching significantly more than I was, which means like 3 days a week I'm only doing that, and I would say I lift twice a week, and that's honestly more than it was because for a while I wasn't doing it at all. So, I guess that's progress on that front, but I definitely wanna find a better balance of, like, being consistent. I used to be so good about my split of being like, on this day I do this thing and this thing and this thing. So, yeah, I do miss it. However, the classes I do teach and the ones that I take are lifting
Yeah.
classes. It's like I am lifting, I'm just not on a split anymore. So that's that. The second one was the reading goal without, like, pressuring myself, and I will say I've been doing so much better with that, and I think a lot of it I credit to our book of the month because I'm on, like, a requirement to be consistent with at least 1 book, but I'm not, like, pressured to read on my own if I don't want to. So, like, I haven't really been wanting to read, like, my own books recently, but I have been consistent keeping up with my reading goal because of book of the month. So I feel like that is a balance that I found, and I'm proud of myself for that. I'm on track for my reading goal regardless. And then the third thing was not putting too much pressure on New Year's resolutions and then getting to this point in the year where we're at right now and being like, I didn't do anything that I said I was going to do. And next year I'm going to have to start on the first. So I feel like I've been really good about that. I've been telling everybody I'm in my yes era. Like anytime I have the option to do something, I just say yes to it, and I feel like that's taken a lot of the pressure off of, like, forcing myself to do specific things, I
Yeah.
guess, or, like, stay in line with things that I don't really want to, and there's some freedom in that. So, those were my 3, I think.
That's those are really good ones. I feel like it's healthy. I also think we've talked about this a lot in our different episodes, but it's really hard to make like a fitness goal that doesn't feel and can't slip into something that's like might be a little bit unhealthy thought
Mhm.
process wise. And so I think that you lifting more and wanting to do that, I think you really have. I think that it's just a different type of lifting, but that doesn't mean that
Mhm.
it's not. You're still lifting the weights, whether you're plus you're like doing it a lot because 'cause you're showing the class how to do that, which is a very different and I think maybe you didn't even anticipate how much of a workout it would be to teach the class
I
itself.
did not. You are so right, I did not anticipate that, and it definitely there's one day where I teach 2 classes pretty much back to back, and that day I end up being significantly more sore than the days I just, like, take a class all on my own. I feel like I end up doing 70% of the class, and I thought that I would just be, like, demonstrating and not doing it. I had no idea what I was getting into. But the
Yeah.
class that I've been taking weekly on Wednesdays is a 1 hour, like, lifting adjacent class, and it's, like, kind of like berries, but instead of running, it's, like, cardio burst. That's, like, the best way I can
Oh,
explain it.
I like that.
And I've been very consistent with that. So, yeah, I think you're right. Like, I have found a balance without it being, like, bad mindset adjacent.
Totally, yeah. I think that's great, Sid, and you're on your track for your reading goal. That's amazing. Yeah, very exciting. So I guess for mine, my had a word, and mine was boundaries. Or it was my like, Sid's in her yes era, I'm, like, in my no era.
Yeah.
All I do is say yes to people, and how am I doing on that? Horrifically. Like, really bad. I mean, I feel like as if I've almost made no progress at all, and I think I have this really bad idea where it's like, "Oh, if I make it my word, I'll have to, like,
Mhm.
it'll happen, right? Like, it'll just kind of naturally transpire."
Mhm.
And then I don't really put any action into place. Like, this is just my word. Like, this is just my word going in, and then, like, I don't really have anything, like, structured to be like, "Okay," like, when somebody asks me for a plan, I can say no. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't have to say yes. So, I have no plan. I just kind of am vibing right now, and now it's biting me in the ass because now I am so booked, that I'm stressed out of my mind because I just keep saying yes to people and
Mhm.
yes to do things that I don't wanna do, which is not very good and not very healthy, which I'm very aware of. I just don't really know how to make boundaries. I don't know what boundaries look like, really. It feels such a harsh word. Weirdly, it feels more harsh than no. I don't really get
Well,
it.
boundaries feels very physical. Like, when you're saying boundary, like, I'm picturing, like, a physical, like, wall or something, which is, I think, why it seems harsher than just saying no. I
Well,
think the only reason that I have not been overbooking myself, because me and Ellie have talked about a lot that we have, like, very similar people
pleasing habit.
pleasing habits. Yeah. And I think the only reason I haven't done that is that one thing a breakup will tell you is that if you just don't wanna do something, you just don't gotta do it. Like, I literally think the breakup is why I'm just like, "Yeah, I'll say yes to this if I wanna go, if I normally wouldn't have, and
Right.
also if I don't wanna be there, like, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
not
well,
gonna."
that's so true because, when I was in my breakup era, I didn't have any within me to even care, so I was so good at saying no and so good at being honest.
Yeah.
Now I'm just really bad at it. So, I don't really know how to, like, fix this. I don't really know how to, like, go about changing this about myself. I mean, obviously, therapy is the best choice for a person like me, but I'm kinda taking a break from therapy right now, if I'm being honest. It's like I've been in therapy for, like, 6 years, bro. Like,
Mm.
I just need a little bit of a break. I was kinda mad at my
Yeah,
therapist,
I
and
was gonna say, are we gonna tell the truth or what?
I was kinda mad at my therapist and, like, then could have talked to her about it, hence putting up a boundary, and I haven't.
Ghosted her instead.
Yeah, so I didn't ghost her. We didn't have any appointment on the block, and I just haven't called and set a new appointment, which was like that was me progressing in my therapy journey was like, "Okay, I don't have to go every week now. I just call up when I need it." And perhaps I have been needing it, but I've been reluctant to go because I am a little bit cross with my therapist over
Mhm.
something so minor and so stupid, and it could be solved over a phone call that I just won't have because it just makes me violently uncomfortable. I just really don't wanna do it.
Me
So, yeah.
and Ellie have discussed this topic a few times, the idea of
Many
her first
times. This has been
season.
happening since, like, the beginning of May,
Yeah.
uh, and every time Sid is telling me that I need to just tell her, and I'm telling myself, like, "No, I don't need to do that. What are you talking about? I don't have to have a full conversation. That's not me. Like, I don't need to be doing that at all."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little bit struggling in that front, I will say. What are some other things? I have been toying with the idea of doing the 75 hard.
No.
Stop it. Between now and the end of the year. Can I tell you why?
No.
Why?
Think about
Wait, why can't I? Why are you saying no? Because you think that's healthy? Oh, you think I'm gonna take it onto an unhealthy level?
I think that I took it to an unhealthy level, which in turn makes me believe you are going to take it to an unhealthy level.
I mean, like, maybe.
I
I
think you
think
should train for a half marathon instead, Ellie.
I Sydney fucking Merchant, are you serious? You think I would run a marathon, a half
Ellie,
marathon?
do you think you have the time in the day to do what is required of the 75 hard when you can't even find the time in the day to make plans for yourself because you have quadruple booked yourself?
No, I don't.
Oh, no.
I don't have it in me.
But you know
Yeah,
what? If you think you can do it, not take it to an unhealthy level, more power to you. You're better than I.
I don't think I'm not worried about me taking it on a healthy level. I think I'm worried about myself, like, realistically. Like, I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and she's super supportive, but she's like, "Ellie, why don't you just, like, create habits for yourself?" I'm like, "Right, but I'm such an all or nothing person." Like, I'm so like, "I need to do it 110% or what's the point of doing it at all?"
But that's what
And
worries me about the 75 hard for you, because I think you're gonna start it, and I think you'll be consistent, and then the second you miss a day, it's gonna, like, terrorize you.
oh,
Like
yeah, and I will never feel it I will never let myself live that down, ho honestly.
exactly, which is exactly why I think this is not a good plan, maybe.
So maybe I do, like, a 30-day hard.
Wait, maybe you just make your own challenge, like, just you. Like,
Yeah,
just
the
you.
whole you're drinking a gallon of water thing is, like, really not for me. It probably should be for me if you know anything about me
That
know that
is
I'm
literally what I was gonna say, the one rule you should probably take from it.
I'm habitually dehydrated. It's a big
That's the one
problem.
habit Ellie does consistently have, is not drinking enough water.
I don't drink enough water. And I'm, like, trying not to let the summer body, like, really get like, those, like, "Get ready for your summer body," like and, like, all the love though I love Love Island, not the USA version, but the UK version. I am, like, the summer body, like, what is it, like, mentality. I know it's not healthy because 'cause I'm not a Build-A-Bear, so I'm really trying to, like, check myself, but it's hard, when it's like, it's just hard to be a woman in this world with a body.
It's actually just hard to have one.
It's just hard. Like, it's just hard to have a body, okay? It's hard. I struggle with my body every
Ugh.
day, whatever it may be. Am I dehydrated? Am I hating my body? Am I loving it?
Am I breaking out? Do I have an ailment that hurts? Do I feel super skinny in my luteal phase and super obese in my other phases? Sure. Do I want to kill all Ozempic marketing? Also sure. There's a lot of you're right. It is just hard to have one.
It's really hard to have a body, like and especially being a woman, like, my thoughts oscillate. What? Why are you laughing?
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at this conversation in a good way because it's just like we've
Oh my
really summed it up. We've really summed it up.
god. Like, we really have. Okay, let me just tell you this much. I every single day, because 'cause I'm a woman and I have period, and you can be a woman even if you don't get your period, obviously. Woman is whatever. Woman is everything. But
Sure.
I feel like I have never woken up on a Monday and a Tuesday feeling the same way about myself. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I feel different. Every single day I wake up in that bed and I feel different about
Wait, I
myself.
feel different at 9 a.m. versus 11 a.m.
Same, same. Like, and then I get into these like really unhealthy like thought spirals. I'm like, I'm gonna go lift and be like a gym beast, right? Like, I'm gonna really get these like sculpted arms. And I'm like, do I even want that? Or does society tell me that I want that? I don't know. And it's so hard to parse through what society is telling you that I want and what I actually want. That line is it's very blurred. I don't know what it is, you
Well, I
know?
think it's blurred because all we do is absorb media and our own thoughts, and I mean, maybe we should just shut the fuck up since we are the media that people are absorbing, so, like,
No, but we're
whatever.
supposed to be like that's the whole point. We're supposed to be a different type of media. Like we're not supposed to be like pushing you to take Ozempic and get plastic surgery. We're supposed to be like pushing you to read a book, which is like so much better than drugs.
Couldn't have said it better myself, so now that we've talked you out of the 75 hard.
Let me just say one more thing though. The
Oh,
other
yeah,
day, Sid and
please.
I thought about us because we haven't talked. Sid and I haven't talked in a little while because she's on this trip, and so like we need to do a little catch up really quick. I was at
Whoa,
book
whoa,
club,
whoa, whoa,
and
whoa.
somebody
I
told me
was
this.
just no, 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 no. Let me pause you really quickly, really
Oh, okay,
quick. Yes, it's been
yeah.
because I've been on this trip, but it's also because Ellie's quadruple booked herself. So she'll tell me, "Oh yes, I'm going to call you between item A and item B," and then she didn't realize that item C is right between item A and item B. So no, we can't.
So true. That is
So
such a great way to put it. Honestly, yeah. No, no, no. You're so right.
anyway, you were
So,
at book club.
I went to book club on Monday night for a book I didn't read because duh. Just, like, is the problem is, like, obvious right here, okay? So, I went to book club for a book I didn't read,
Uh-huh.
and some girl which it's, like, this great book, and then some girl there was like, yeah, like, something about advertising came up, and it was like, you have to see something 50 times. Like, somebody was like, "Oh, you have to see something 50 times in order to buy it." And I went,
Mhm.
"Wait, is that a real statistic?" He's like, "Oh, no, I was just joking." And then this girl to the left of me goes, "No, you have to see it 5 to 10 times." I said, "Really? Because right now I'm at a 1. I see it once and I go purchase it because I believe in my soul that I need it." And I really wanted to talk about that because I feel maybe I could be overstepping. Like somebody else in the room is struggling with that too. Maybe. Is she? Let's find out. I think I know you, but maybe I don't.
So
Who knows?
actually a perfect way to discuss this, a perfect example of this is that I've been having a wee bit of a hard time trying to find an apartment in California, okay?
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a
Mhm.
struggle. And about
Right.
24 hours after Ellie made some tours for me, I get a call from my mommy that her friend toured an apartment for me and said it was perfect. And she said, "You can tell us right now if you want it." I said, "I want it, sight unseen." I never saw this apartment. I'm moving in
Yeah.
July. I'm so excited.
Yep, she is.
And you know what? My mother has seen it and my mom's best friend has seen it, and that was good enough for me. I saw the
Yeah.
photos. So,
I saw the
you
photos
know
too, it's great, great.
yeah, so in fact, I might also be struggling with that. Another example that happened to me on this trip is that I've been borrowing a bathing suit from my friend that I tried the first day and I loved it so much, I've just decided it's my bathing suit all week. And so I wore it and I wore it again and again and again. And then I discovered the tag and I ordered 3 of them.
Yeah, yep, yep.
They will be delivered on July 1st if
That's my
anybody's
birthday.
wondering.
That's my birthday. Are you gonna
Yes, I
forget my
know.
birthday?
Ellie, I know your birthday. The audience does too.
Okay, because, you should have seen me, Sid, like, I was a fiend. I went to LA, like, 3 separate times 'cause I got a new job.
I know.
And I know. But no, but the audience doesn't know. So I went to LA 3 different times, like, being like, "I need work clothes." Like, I literally need them. I need
You didn't
them.
buy
And
any
I'm
work
like, "Really,
yeah.
Ras" I did actually buy work clothes.
Okay.
I did. I got a new pair of heels, though, that could be cutesy for, like, a little dinner that we go to when you're here. Come on, get the most amount of I'm getting the most of the product because I'm using it for both work and social. Perfect. Imagine if I
Obvious.
only used it for, like, my work things. So anyways, yeah, that's what I've been struggling with. I'm really trying to tell myself, like, I don't need anything. Okay, consumerism is a fucking beast, and it's horrible, and you don't need anything. I live a lovely life. I have everything I could have imagined and more. I need for nothing. So stop putting the credit card down. Stop it. Except for food. That I'm, like, always game because everyone loves a good meal. So gratitude and yeah, those are my updates. Those are your updates. Maybe at the end of the year when we do, like, a yearly recap of how we're doing with our thing, I'll be better at saying no. But as of now,
She's actually saying yes to everyone, everything, and every purchase.
there she
Y'all
is.
heard it here first.
Okay. Yeah. You really did hear it here first, okay? But it's something I'm really working on, okay? And maybe if I can confront my therapist, I will be able to deal with these issues more succinctly.
No, absolutely.
Nevertheless, I digress. Let's move on to our favorite section, the cleansing breath at the end of every podcast episode, the thing that keeps us tethered to each other
Mhm.
always. Book of the month.
I feel like we should address that this has clearly been a really well scripted episode.
Considering the fact that you've been talking in an accent for the past 5 minutes, I'd say it's the best episode we've ever I think it's the best episode we ever made. I'm being so honest.
Before we move to book of the month, can I please explain the accent thing? Because it's gonna it needs
Well,
some
your mom's a
context.
Southern belle, so first of all, it's
No,
in
no,
your
no.
vein.
No, 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 but the accent is because so, I'm in Long Beach Island in New Jersey, and I'm with my friends, and my friend Rihanna has a sister-in-law, Jenna, and Jenna is the funniest person that truly has ever walked this earth. I met her, and I'm in love with her because she's the funniest person I've
You
ever met.
told me that I was the funniest person you ever knew a couple weeks ago.
Ellie, I hate to tell you, you are top. This girl is the funniest person I've ever met in my life. Dead ass, no joke, okay? And so me, Jenna, we're all sitting at a kitchen table outside eating dinner, and we wanted to do like rosebud thorn, like that whole thing with
Yeah.
everybody. And Marissa, Rayanna's best friend, goes, maybe we should do a different one. Instead of rosebud thorn, let's come up with our own. We should make it toad and hole. Like, you know, the toast where you put an egg in it and it's toad in the hole. Like that's when
Oh,
you cut
I yeah, yeah,
you
I
know what I'm
love
talking about?
that.
When you cut a piece of sourdough, you cut a hole. Okay, so that's called
So
toad
good.
in a hole. So, well, that's what they've named it. And so your negative thing was your hole, and your positive thing was your toad. And so Jenna just started immediately talking in a southern accent. She starts going around the table. Everybody share your hole with the class. Everybody put your hole out on display. And then the rule was that when you said your toad in the hole, you had to talk in a southern accent. And I'm not even kidding. None of us have stopped since. I have been talking in a southern accent nonstop. I don't know my real voice anymore. I have only talked in a southern accent for 3 days. Like, I'm not even kidding. We were doing karaoke downstairs yesterday. We're all doing karaoke and we're all talking in a southern accent. We're like, "What song should I pick for you?" And so unfortunately, this is me now.
I love
This is who I
that.
am.
I know it's, like, literally who you are,
Yeah,
and I love
in my
that.
soul. I am Southern. Isn't sh we also just kept saying things like, "Well, isn't she just sweet as peach pie?" Like,
She is. She
yeah.
is.
So, anyway, that's my
Look,
context to book of the month. We are back.
we're back. We have not given this book its fair, like, space on this podcast at all. We have not really talked about anything. We haven't gone into really the first week was the only week that we gave it into it. So now this is our time to really debrief and really talk about all the things. So, I loved it. I know
I
my
hated
friend over
it.
here doesn't.
I
I
hated
loved it. I really okay, I wanna know why. Like, we obviously it's just a Sid and I really never very rarely talk about book of the month outside of it unless we're
We don't
picking the
talk about
book
it at
or,
all
like
outside of it, actually. I think we've been
unless
very
we're
good
just
about
talking about, like, super, like, unless we're whatever. So, we never talk about it, and we were on the phone last night or a couple nights ago, and Sid was like, "I have a confession. I hate the book." And I was like, "Okay, babe, that's alright, you know, you're allowed to hate a book. It's okay. And we're also allowed to disagree, that's what makes it fun." So, tell me all the things you hated about it, I wanna know.
So just to jog everybody's memory, we read Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, and I'll explain why I didn't like it. So I really liked the organization of the book, like the different plot lines, and I appreciated the different timelines. And like I said in every single episode that we've talked about this, I appreciate so much the ability to jump from these very sparsely different time periods, like starkly different
Yeah.
time periods, very easily. My
Mhm.
issue is one, I can't explain it, but the moment that I think took me out of it, and I don't think I ever got back into it,
Mhm.
was when Maria becomes Sabine or Sabine for the first time
The beginning?
in the like 20% into the book.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, wow, okay."
So
I was expecting that to come later. Okay, fair enough.
when she immediately becomes her, I think that interaction in the original Sabine's, like, workshop was so rushed and so without context that I just felt like all of a sudden I was, like, in a completely different book, and it threw me. Like and I kind of understood that this was coming just because I'd read the back of the book and it was kind of anticipatory that there was, like, a change of pace at some point, but I think that scene was so out of left field. Like, it'd been alluded to that she was, like, a vampire or whatever, but, like, then all of the sudden, they're, like, drinking blood, like, in one page. And I
Yeah,
think that felt very rushed to me, and then to follow that immediately by Alice basically, like, waking up we have 27 pages of her being hungover and 1
yeah,
page explaining that she's now a vampire.
yeah,
And I think it just felt the to get to the point of these new character developments of, like, they're now vampires and there's this curse and all of these things, the
sure.
actual switch of the narrative felt so quick to me that it just felt so unrealistic, and I understand that being a vampire is not realistic to begin with, but I think the rest of the book was done so well, and the actual characters were developed like, their character was developed so well, that to have them switch, like, in 1 page with,
Right.
like, little to no context, I think really took me out of it at the beginning. I tried to get back into it, and then the ending was so rushed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we had such a long, drawn out story that was so well done and so well organized and so well cared for, and the same way that the switch to the vampire was so quick,
Yeah.
the way that the ending just kind of came upon you, I was like, but we've taken all of this time to like world build each of these girls' separate storylines. How are we going to coincide it into like basically saying, like, oh, and it was just one curse.
Right.
Whoopsies. Like
Right.
that to me, I was just like, I was just disappointed. I don't think I hated the book. I had a lot of appreciation for the way that it was written, and there were so many things about it that were done so well. But I think there was some things that, and I don't want this to be taken personally, like towards this author, because I have read other things by V. Schwab that are incredible. But there were just parts of this that I think the way that it was rushed felt almost lazy to me because we could see how well V. Schwab could world build and give context and explain by like just giving Maria's background. Like Maria was such a well-developed character. And to do all of that and then just have this like rushed situation just feels lazy because we know what V. Schwab is capable of.
Totally.
That's why I didn't like it.
I actually totally understand where you're coming from, like, I actually really completely do, because I agree with you, like, when I was getting to the end of it and kind of working my way through it, which was actually an hour ago in front of my closet because once again, overbooked myself. Hello. So, I was kind of like we got to, like, the bottom end with it goes from Charlotte and then it goes back to Alice one more time, and that, like, final switch between the 2 of them. Alice's section was all about how her escape from Sabine and falling in love with a bunch of like, falling in love with the women and then all of the women that she loves dying, right?
Yeah.
And that just I knew where she was going with it. I knew from the moment that Alice was sitting on the bed and said Sabine's name, I did not need that many chapters. I knew from the moment that Alice was like, "You made me a vampire. What the fuck? I didn't wanna die," to the moment that Alice was like, said Sabine's name, I knew what had happened. I didn't need a long drawn out explanation. I knew like that could have been so like wrapped up. And then I wanted Alice's story to kind of like be longer. And
I
I agree with
completely
you that
agree.
and Alice's whole thing was, wow, I'm meaningless. Wow, I have no story. Like, wow, this is like, and she didn't get she didn't get the pages to be valuable. Like Sabine
Yeah.
and Charlotte were the most substantial characters. Alice was just there. Like she really was just there, and also just there is like to just quickly kill Sabine and then kill Alice. Or sorry, quickly kill Sabine and then kill Charlotte. And I was like, what? Like, where is this? I'm so confused how this is all
Yeah.
happening.
I
So
also think no, you go, continue, continue.
I just had a really hard time with like because I thought that Sabine's character was so well thought out, just as you were saying. She's so well thought out. Charlotte's character is so well thought out, right? Then it gets to the end with Charlotte just being like lonely. And I just was kind of like, I don't know, that just part like kind of really threw me off a little bit. And then I think but the thing I did appreciate though is knowing a character, watching a character, like we loved Sabine in the beginning, Maria. Like she was such a compelling character. You understood her. You understood her hatred for what life made women to be, right? And you hated
Yeah.
all those things. Totally understood that. And then watching her become a villain was so satisfying, I actually think, because I think the best villains are the ones that you know and that you're scared of. And like, you know what I mean? Like you get where she's coming from. You
She
understand
also
how
was the perfect villain. Like, she
she's
was the
so
perfect
perfect.
villain.
But I just wish that like Alice just got more time. Like I just feel like I didn't. And all of Alice's story was also about her sister, who then her sister died.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean her sister's dead?
Yeah, I know. I just think for a book that was so well thought out and that the way Sabine comes to life, especially for the character that was so well done and especially for like the way that this villain was created and like so well understood by readers, I think the switch to like kind of like breadcrumbing the curse, like the way that it was like breadcrumbed that way, for a book that was so well thought out and initially paced so beautifully, it just threw the whole thing off for me because all of a sudden the pacing that like you've expected and the way like the way that we're kind of starting to learn about our characters is so well done, and then all of a sudden this switch happens and our pacing is completely anew, and the ending all of a sudden like is like a third pace. Like we have the beginning, which was one pace and it was going great. The middle, all of a sudden it's like kind of jumbled and you're like kind of flipping back and forth being like, wait, did I miss something? Like
Yeah.
I felt really lost at certain points, and then you get to the end and it's like summed up so quickly. And I think Alice, not only because of her character and like being lonely and just feeling like she was insignificant, deserved the pages. Not only do I think that, but I think her character was closest to present day timeline. So I think there's a lot of relatability with Alice. And so I
Totally.
feel like for the audience, especially like we're talking about like young queer kids of that age, I feel
Yeah.
like she deserved more of the limelight because she inherently is going to be the most relatable to the audience just via circumstance alone. And we talked about at the beginning how we like loved the initial introduction to Alice and her discussions of like
Yeah.
feeling invisible and like needing to give herself time to get out of her shell and all of this stuff. And I think that I was just disappointed with the way that her character was handled, I think.
Totally. I agree with you. I also think one other thing that kind of threw me for a loop was that Alice was and felt very disconnected from the story. Like she felt like she had her
Mhm.
story going on. And
Correct.
I know that you said that you felt like the switch of being like, I'm a vampire, like I am human one second and I'm a vampire the next was very like quick. And
Mhm.
I don't mind that actually. Like I really actually enjoy a fantasy novel that's like, I know what a vampire is. Okay. I don't need you to explain it to me. Everybody
Yeah.
knows what a fucking vampire is. They know how you're made. You know, you can't go in the light. Everyone knows the trope. So I don't need you to explain it to me. What I needed was those people that were being turned to struggle more with the realization that they're dead. Like, I
Yeah.
felt like Charlotte, who really struggled with her humanity more than anybody else, I was like, how are you so okay with this? You know, and Alice was the only one that was like not okay with it, but for a totally different reason than like, you're killing people. Like Charlotte's thing is like, I'm killing people. Sabine had no issue at all. And then Alice's thing was, I want my life back. Like, you just took my life and you didn't have the right to do that. And I think I wanted more of that, like, but now you are losing your life. You can't go out. You're maintaining friendship is going to look so different. Your life is going to look so different. Your abilities are going to look different. If, all these different things, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I also thought the way that she killed Charlotte was really interesting and her reasoning
Yeah.
behind it was really interesting. I was honestly kind of confused by that. She killed her because she fell in love with a bunch of different women.
But I thought it was, like, a jealousy thing, like, I didn't really understand it. I don't know if it was because I don't know if it's she did it because she fell in love with a bunch of women or if it was, like, my under interpretation of it was, "Oh, I'm gonna kill her because not only did she fall in love with a bunch of women, but, like, she got the opportunity to fall in love with a bunch of women, and, like, my exploration of my youth was, like, cut short."
Huh. Yeah. I really
I
didn't
don't
get
know.
it. Again, it was
I
so
that's what I'm
small.
saying, like, it was one paragraph, like, I didn't understand it, it just happened.
And then she's, like, on the phone with her dad, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm walking home." And I'm like, "Where's the grief for your sister?" And, like, where's, like, these grief is not, like, losing a sibling? Like, that's not, like, a simple thing.
Sure.
That's a heavy weight. You don't just, like, I don't know. I loved Alice's character, don't get me wrong. I just feel like her character could have come alive a little bit more on the page. I still think it's a four-star read because of the other elements really hold it up. The plot development, it's just really the
Yeah,
end that kind of, like, shakes it a little bit for me. But I thought
totally,
the characters felt really fleshed out. I felt like I knew Sabine. I felt like I knew
totally.
Charlotte. I felt like I knew Alice. I just knew her on a different level than I knew. And I think a lot of Alice's character was carried by the weight of time proximity because we are closest to Alice in
Yes.
age. She was the same age as
That's why I
me.
wanted more from her.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things is, like, I think because the readers of this book are probably younger, that the relation to time gives you the illusion of knowing a character just as well as the other two, but, like, you really understood Sabine's, like, hatred, right?
Yes.
And, like, I thought it was really interesting that Charlotte only ever killed men and Sabine only ever killed women, and I
Yeah.
thought that was really interesting too. Yeah. I wanted a little bit more, but I'm happy with the story. Love lesbian vampires. So great.
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept is really good, and I think there were a lot of elements that were really great. Like, hate was a strong word. I didn't hate it. I had a hard time with it, but I
Yeah.
think there was a lot of concepts that were really well thought out. I thought there was a lot of elements of the book that were really great. There was just a lot of things that fell flat for me that I think, especially if you've read anything else by this author, came
Yeah.
more as a surprise. I think my expectations were a little bit needed to be lowered a little bit, and maybe that's like on my own, but yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Okay, well, that's book of the month for you of
We have to
June.
announce our next book.
Happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride Month. And yeah, our next month, Sid, do you want to announce it?
Okay, so our next read for July is going to be Television by Lauren Rothery. We'll like put it in the description and Ellie will write out for you guys like the pages and how we're dividing it up. But we chose this A because it's been on our list for a while. Like I think I've had this book since February, maybe. I can't remember something like that. Like I literally bought this book in February and we thought it would be perfect timing. It takes place in LA. It's in the film and television industry and all of these fun things that are like and it's supposed to be like intellectual soap opera, which is a saying I've also said on this podcast about this book before. But that's just the way it was described to me, and I am moving to California in a month, less than. So this felt like the perfect time because we get to finish the book together, and the last week will be when we're filming together in person, and it's all about I don't know, it's set and based in California, and it seemed fitting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good book. A couple of my MFA students, if you're new here, I was in an MFA program, I just graduated. A lot of them have read it and they talked super highly of it. And a lot of them that were in like the film industry and interested in it. So I'm hoping it'll give us like some more insight into the film world. And I think it's gonna be a good book. So I'm excited. I'll put all the breakdowns in the caption of like how we read. We read, if you're new here, we read sections every week. We talk about it at the end of every episode. So I'll put what sections, how many pages you should read each week there. And yeah, we love you. Thank you for being
Yay!
here. We'll see you in the next chapter.
Love you. Bye.